Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TCA. My name's Christian, and we are live this morning, and I am joined by a special guest today, taking the place of Mr. Andy Turner. I have Mr. Michael Mushkett, the Weinig product manager here at Weinig Culture USA. Hey, Michael.
Morning, everybody. My name is Michael. I'm the product manager here at Weinig USA. Welcome to TCA this morning.
Yeah, so Michael, we are live. This morning, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. I got the stream up here. So, hey, if you're watching, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have questions specific to Weinig products, now's the time. Now's the time. Put them in the comments section and we'll answer whatever questions you may have. So let us know. So again, we're live. I'm monitoring the feed. You just, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from. If you got questions, let us know. We're live on Facebook and also on YouTube. All right. So, excellent. Yeah, excellent. So, Michael, so I want to have you on for a couple of reasons. First of all, the machine that we're sitting in front of, this is the new Profimat 50, which we're really excited about here at Weinig. And I thought, who better to kind of describe the machine and its application than yourself?
Sure.
But before we get into the P50, I want to just give you the opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and let us know kind of your history with the company and, how you found Weinig or how Weinig found you and, and what you do here.
All right. Yeah, that's a long, interesting story. So I'm with Weinig now. It's going to be 5 years in June of this year. When I started almost 5 years ago. So first of all, as you can probably hear, I'm from the south, but South Germany. I grew up.
You can hear that Southern German accent coming through, just a little bit.
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Very good, very good. So I grew up in Germany. Went to school there, did all my education there. Had a couple different jobs in Germany before my wife and I decided to move to the U.S. So we moved to the U.S. probably about 6 years ago. First year I worked for a different German company. Then after a year I decided to look for something different, and that's basically how I found Weinig. Weinig is a great company. I love Weinig. When I first started, I interviewed for the position as a service technician for molders. And
out in the field to go service and install molders.
That's right. So for the first year and a half, 2 years, I was a technician out in the field installing molders, doing customer training, doing repairs on machines and things like that.
Now, was that your first time working with molders?
Yeah, that was my first time working with molders. I mean, I do have a mechanical engineering degree, so I'm familiar with machines overall and how they function. But my position as a service technician here at Weinig, that was actually my first job in the woodworking industry, so to say, or working with woodworking machines.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So and also this is kind of when I developed a hobby as a woodworker. So I'm doing like a little bit of woodworking.
It's what the industry does, man.
That's
you
right.
get into this industry and you can't keep the scrap wood out of your garage.
That's right. There's tons of scrap wood in my garage. So, I did the technician for a year and a half, 2 years. I loved that time. It was great. Traveled with the other technicians and got to know the customers and the industry, and see how the machines work and what they do, and how our customers work and how they operate. Right.
Right. Sure.
So after that, there was a little bit of a transitioning period where I was more in-house in the diagnostics department here. So many of you guys know, if you have any problems with your machines, you can call our diagnostic support, and we can log in remotely to your machine and see what the issue might be and help you out remotely, which is a great feature, I think, that we offer.
Sure.
So I did that for probably another half a year or so. And then they were looking for a position as in the sales department, and I was applying for the job, and luckily I was selected to be the regional sales manager in the Southeast.
That's right.
That's what I did. So I started out in the Southeast, traveled with our Southeast guys. Shout out to you, Kerner brothers, and all the other great guys out there. I really enjoyed that, and then I did that probably for a year and a half, and then or maybe just a year, and then there was a position as the product manager for all Weinig products, which includes now the profiling equipment, the molders, which are coming out of our factory in Tauberbischofsheim, TBB, and our crosscut saws, Dimter, and then our rib saw, our Ryman rib saws, the Graycon finger joiners, and the scanners.
Right, the LuxScan scanners. Right.
Yeah. So I'm the product manager now for just over a year, and I really enjoy my role here in the company. I still get to travel with the guys out in the field, but now I think my main focus is more of being in-house and making sure we have the right machine for the right application.
That's right.
I'm constantly in contact with our friends over in Germany and the product managers and sales managers over there, making sure we have the right machines. If there's any new products we need to develop or work on, those are things where I get involved in.
So I think a lot of people may not realize that the U.S. is one of the only places in the world that actually carries a, I'll call it a substantial inventory of Weinig machines. And, you know, as many of you and everyone out there knows, you know, a machine, that's a large investment. So to actually carry inventory of them is a huge responsibility. And you, along with a few others, are responsible for knowing, you know, polishing up that crystal ball to figure out what inventory that we need to carry here in the U.S.
Right. So we have a couple of people here in house that are kind of responsible for inventory. Myself as one of them, and then we have Peter Fritsch and Mike Sigmund. I'm constantly working with those guys. We're in communication every day on making sure what our inventory levels are. So I heard from many guys that to manage inventory, that's probably one of the hardest jobs that you can have, because it's a great responsibility. You have to make sure the specs are right. You kind of have to predict what you're going to sell in the next year.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of a full-time job in itself, for sure.
So I think Mike's actually watching this morning and says good morning, Mike Sigmund. So and a couple more shout outs. Shout out to Lynn. Thanks for watching this morning. Chris, good to see you on the stream again. Chris thought that you were from New Jersey from your accent. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, you know. And shout out to Jacob. Jacob, you bring me some of that Texas barbecue anytime you want, buddy.
Buddy.
I'm game. So all right. So moving on, Michael. So you know, we touched on inventory, which we could talk for an entire TCA about how we manage inventory, how there are so many different configurations and variations on just Weinig molders, let alone every other piece of equipment that we have, and how we have this enormous warehouse that houses all these machines, blah, blah, blah. But that's not this morning's topic. So this morning we want to talk about what's behind us, which is the Profimat 50. Man, it feels like this is like the newest buzz out of the group. The Profimat 50 here in the States and in Europe, they have the Profimat 50, and I think they also have another configuration, the Profimat 30.
That's right, yep.
But here in the States, we have the Profimat 50, and it just seems like there's a lot of buzz about this machine. It's one of those things where there was some anticipation to get this going and to get this landed here and to get inventory up on this specific machine. Why is there buzz about this? What makes it so special?
Yeah, so I think back in the days where we had smaller entry-level machines, they were all manual, like the Profimat 22, Profimat 23,
right.
Those types of machines. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, and I'm sure Christian Kerner, he can comment on that, but that was probably 15 years ago or so, 20 years ago, where that was a huge market in the US for those types of machines, just entry-level manual machines. There's a ton of small businesses here in the US, smaller shops. They do some smaller batch manufacturing, and the P22, P23, that was a perfect machine for that
for
application.
kind of like that smaller batch. And when you say a smaller batch, it means like the molder's not running every day, or all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just when I need some molding ran, I set up the machine, I turn it on, I run my sticks through, and then I'm done.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yep.
So it's as you can see, the Profimat 50 behind us, the footprint is relatively small.
Yeah, it's fairly small, right?
So behind us we have a 5 spindle actually. The machine is available in a 6 spindle as well. So there would be 1 top hat versus 2 top hats. Again, that would kind of depend on what kind of profiles you are running. Are you running a lot of rough material, or is your material already maybe S4S or pre-planed? And then also the species, softwood, hardwoods, all those are factors where we would recommend, hey,
either a 5 or a 6 head.
either a 5 or 6 head. That's right. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so now back up 1 second. So we talked about the P22 and the P23 back. I don't even know how many years ago that came back. I remember when I was in manufacturing, we had a P23.
Right.
And a lot of shops did, right? So, but there was a period of time where the Profimats just weren't going into the industry, right? It was kind of a little bit of a void for that, like you said, small batch molding manufacturing.
That's correct. So, basically, coming back to Christian's original question, so we used to have those smaller entry-level manual machines, and then as technology evolved and we were putting computers on the machine, we kind of went away from a manual machine, which was great for the European market. But here in the US, there were still a lot of customers that preferred that manual setup, and we just didn't have a machine that would basically provide that.
Right.
So last year, so the requests came in through many years, and then last year we were finally able to put the new Profimat 30 and Profimat 50 live, and since then we're getting some very good. And then we were getting some very good responses from that. So I think the Profimat 50 is a great machine for the smaller to mid-sized shops. Maybe this could be a secondary molder, or a molder that you just run on occasion for a special setup, so to say, where you don't have to change over your high production machine. Right,
sure. Okay, so all right, so the P50, it lands here. So kind of talk us through. We touched on it. You can get 5 or 6 spindles on the Profimat 50. First of all, how old is the Profimat 50? When did we get our first here in the U.S.? I mean, it's been in production, I would say, what, like a year or two?
Yeah, a year or two. So we probably started with the specification and just the development of the machine probably about like 3 years ago.
Okay, yep.
We did some questionnaires throughout the world. And
got feedback from all kinds of customers here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S., correct. Yep. So we were listening to our customers and see what they want.
Yep.
And then last year we basically came out with the first prototype, and that was tested in Europe. And then probably about 9 months ago is when we got the first machine here in the US.
Now, so okay, 5 or 6 head. So the one behind us, this one's 5 spindles, right?
Yes.
Also comes with 6 spindles. Obviously, that increases the footprint of the machine.
Yep.
But if you go with a 5 spindle, I mean, it has a fairly small footprint.
Yeah, it has a fairly small footprint for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And all of your controls are going to be manual adjustments, correct?
Correct. So the machine here right behind us is a 5 spindle, 1 top hat, all manual.
Okay.
Now there is an option, and we also stock that option, where the option is called control package. Now the control package is available on the 5 or the 6 spindle model, and what that will give you is the little Memory Plus controller.
Right.
And some CNC automatic positioning on the left radial and the top and the feed beam radial. So basically, your width and with the control package, your width and thickness are adjusting automatically to whatever the dimension in the computer is.
Yeah. And so basically, it gives you a bit of technology in this machine, whereas that's an option that you can add in.
Right, correct.
Okay, yeah, sure. And that's Memory Plus technology that's been around for some time, right? So it's not nothing new.
No, so I mean the Memory Plus system, that's a proven technology. We're building machines every day with that controller, so it's a very reliable system.
So speaking of building, the Profimat 50, where's it made?
All right, so the Profimat 50 is made in Germany.
Okay. In Tauberbischofsheim?
In Tauberbischofsheim, that's right. Yep, so we're bringing the machines in straight from there. Also, one thing I want to mention, and that might be interesting for some bigger cities or metropolitan areas, or could be some rural areas as well. So we have that machine is actually available in 460 or 230 volts.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So I think we have a direct sales agent. His name is Jordan. He covers
New York City.
New York City,
right.
So the Profimat 50 is actually a great machine for a bigger city where the shop space, the floor space might be limited, and a lot of customers in those bigger cities, they don't have access to 460 volts. So the 220, 230 volt option is a great is a great benefit for these customers.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of times you get into to tight quarters or old mills, and you just can't get that electricity. Yep, sure.
Exactly.
All right, so the machine itself is German made.
Yep.
And this is something else that we heard a lot of feedback from. Weinig is German made. It kind of goes with one another. And so, this machine it's made in the same factory, in the same lines as other profiling machines, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if you ever get the chance to visit the factory in TBB, that's definitely worth a trip. I mean, it's really impressive to just see how the molders are made there. So yeah, like Christian said, it could be that on the production floor in TBB, which is kind of like a walking floor where the machines are put on, it could be that P50. The little P50 is standing right next to a PowerMat 3000 that's like over $500,000. So
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Same factory floor.
Right.
Absolutely. Same craftsman, same factory floor.
Yep.
Same German quality.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And when things open back up, if you run a Weinig, any opportunity you can jump on to visit the factory, it's a treat for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, you develop a new sense of pride for operating a machine when you see the factory that machine was built in.
How it's made, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So application-wise, Michael. So we talked about kind of small batch molding runs. What other applications would you see the P50 really fitting into in the industry here in the U.S.?
All right, so I would basically say a couple of things. Like I mentioned, smaller batch runs. Customers that might not run the machine each day, every day, maybe just for a couple of hours per day. For sure, like the smaller shops. I mean, I think the majority of the customers that would buy that machine, they might have a older Profimat 22 and they are just looking for direct replacement of that machine.
Right.
A little bit of new technology, but still have a manual setup. So that's basically where the P50 is a great replacement for that.
So a couple other shout outs real quick. Tony from Sweden's watching. So always like to give a shout out to those in other areas of the world. That's awesome. Speaking of other areas of the world, our good friend Kevin Singleton from Alabama, which is a very different area of the world. Shout out to him as well. Kevin, thanks for watching this morning on TCA. Again, we're live on Facebook and YouTube this morning. My name's Christian. This is Michael. Any Weinig product questions, this is the time to ask them. Michael is the man when it comes to Weinig product management here in the U.S. So
yeah. So after the TCA, no more questions.
Oh, you have to get them all in now, because once we cut the stream, that's it.
That's it.
So all right. So going back to small, medium-sized shops, maybe not a lot of floor space, not running molding all day long, but has a need to run that molding. Face frame cabinetry shops,
Sure.
would you say? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
yeah.
This would be a good fit for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, a machine, relatively small footprint. Therefore, also all the things inside are just very. I mean, I would say
Condensed. They're kind of condensed.
condensed.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean,
sure.
especially if you're running smaller profiles,
Okay. Sure.
like some profiles for the cabinet industry. It's just on this machine it might be a little bit easier to set up compared to a big compared to a big hydromat.
Yeah, just because. Well, also because the traveling spaces from setup to setup now are not traveling as much, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So yeah. Okay. So that totally makes sense. So cabinet shops out there, face frame cabinetry, your face frame parts, your small moldings, freeze molding stuff, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. This could be a great fit. So okay, one more thing. So I wanted to talk about. You had mentioned the Memory Plus. Now, Memory Plus is available for this machine, and but you said something that I thought was really interesting. I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper in this. Memory Plus is proven technology. It's also important to note that every part of this is proven technology, right? I mean, this is Weinig technology. It's just that it's kind of configured in a small condensed version, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the controls, same controls that you have on, say, Eagle, a PowerMat Eagle, right?
That's correct.
Or a P700 Eagle.
P700 Eagle, yeah.
Right. So it's the same controls. It's the same Weinig technology that's in this machine that are in other spindle machines that from the group.
Yes, correct. So what we basically did on the Profimat 50s, we took some proven, like Christian said, some proven technology. I mean, the P50 behind us is very similar to the next step up, the PowerMat 700.
Okay.
I mean, in general, it's the same size casting. There's a lot of components in this machine that are used in our bigger machines, correct? And that basically is why we were able to on this model behind us to get the price down to a more attractive level for our customers.
Sure, especially for the entry level, shops that maybe have not had a molder before.
Yeah.
This is a very, very attractive option. And like Michael said, one of the reasons why is because we are able to share technology from this machine to others. And I think that that's an important point to bring up, because one of the things that always impresses me about Weinig is once we have something that works, right, then, okay, well, where can we use that? What can we put that in? How can we better other processes or other equipment with that thing that works? And so, I think it's interesting, the P50 that's behind us, I was excited for it to come out because it was one of those machines that you hear about and you think to yourself, I don't want to say you think to yourself, well, why haven't we done this already? But it was just one of those, it was almost like a no-brainer. It's like, all right, we have all this technology, like let's just configure it in this way that fits, that small batch shop, those shops that maybe they haven't had a molder before, maybe they're trying to get into molding, maybe their molding supplier has maybe gone up on prices a little bit too much or has gone away. I mean, that happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
Is, your supply dries up or becomes no longer, I guess you would say, affordable, and you're forced to make stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, so that's the P50. Listen, if you guys have questions, you can ask us on the stream, put a comment in the video, or get in touch with your local Weinig rep, your agent in your territory, or anybody here in Mooresville, North Carolina. We can help you. We can answer questions about this machine, the P50, whether it's a 5-spindle, a 6-spindle, whatever fits your application. Great machine, German-made, coming across the pond, just like the proven Weinig technology that that we've all been accustomed to.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So Michael, another thing that we like to do on TCA is talk about what's going on here at Weinig Holz-Her USA, right? So, and we'd be remiss, we're very green-centric this morning. So shout out to all Holz-Her guys watching the stream this morning. Love to y'all, and we don't want to forget about that. So one thing that I think is super exciting that's happening this week is we have some new hires here.
That's
in
right.
Louisville.
Yeah. So I mean, as we're growing the business, and I mean, we hear it from all our customers. All our customers are super busy.
Right.
So
right.
that
and so are we.
And so are we.
Yeah.
So we're basically increasing our staff, and we're hiring new people. We're hiring some new technicians.
Yeah. So let's pause right there because that's great news for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And so we are increasing our field technician staff. And that is really exciting for all of us here, but man, I'm sure that's really exciting to all the Weinig and Holz-Her customers out there in the U.S. as well. We have more people on the ground that can get to your shop faster and install new machines, work on the machines that you have on the floor. We love our field technicians. They are absolutely warriors when it comes to traveling, when it comes to, working weekends or nights or whatever. I mean, you've done it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just whatever gets the job done, right?
Right. And so, I mean, from my personal background, as I started out as a technician, I know how important it is to be a technician, to be out there, to take care of the customer, to take care of their machine, and just make sure the customer is happy. And I haven't been to a customer that was unhappy to see a technician. I mean, every time that our guys show up, they are able to help the customer.
Yeah.
And
totally.
they won't leave. They won't leave before the job gets done. So I mean, that's obviously,
isn't that the truth?
Great.
Yeah. I have talked to so many customers where they're like, yeah, so and so was here, and we were just, we were out in the shop till 8 o'clock that night, just making sure everything was running right. Production. I mean, and so so it's always great when we have new technicians starting for us, and so that's been very exciting this week. We also have some new staff here in the office in Mooresville. We increased our IT staff here in Mooresville so we can have better information systems and serve our customers better in that regard. And it's been very exciting seeing new faces. If any of you guys are watching, they probably are. Shout out to you. If you started in the last 6 months, shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. So so that's happening, and then we also have some training classes here. This week.
We have some training classes going on. So many of you maybe know, or if you don't, come check it out. So we have almost a weekly molder and grinding class that we're doing for our customers. So if you're hiring some new people, and again, we hear it every day from our customers, it's hard to find new people. It's hard to find qualified people.
Right.
So that's basically why we're offering the service. So if you're hiring some new people and you need to get them trained on a molder, on a grinder, or anything like that, you can send them here to Mooresville.
Yeah.
And we have a week-long molder grinder class where we will teach the guys all the basics. So this is obviously great for some new hires if it's a person that has not experienced yet, that didn't have any experience yet with a molder, or it could be a older operator that just wants to learn some of the new technology. This is obviously also a great opportunity to send them here and
you see it,
get them trained up.
Yeah, you see it all the time. Operators, they switch out. You get a new machine, or possibly one operator moves on to maybe a supervisor position, and now it's time to train somebody else.
That's right.
Those classes happen, let's say, almost every other week here.
Yeah.
It seems like they're always happening. We have a couple great instructors here in North Carolina that come in, teach all the basics, teach all the controls. It's excellent. In fact, some folks come just as a refresher course. They know the molder you know, a lot of times, like what we were talking about, those shops where the P50 would be a great fit, you know, they don't run their molder every day, right? And so, you know, you kind of get out of the routine, and if you have some time free, those classes are absolutely great resources. They happen all the time here in Mooresville, North Carolina, and so that's happening this week. Always want to give a shout out to them.
Right. So one more thing I wanted to mention about the grinding class. So as we said, we're what's really important for the grinding class as well is that we finally to a stage where we kind of have our showroom back together as it used to be. I mean, there was a time towards the end of last year where we were selling a lot of machines out from our demo floor. So the showroom here I might have looked a little bit empty, but now we're kind of back to the stage where we're getting machines back in the showroom. We're actually installing a PowerMat 700 hybrid right now. So this is also great. We usually trying to keep a broad variety of machines in the showroom. So we have anything from a small Profimat 50 to a high-speed Hydromat 3000 right over there.
They're literally 20 feet from us is the Hydromat 3000. I mean, there's a whole array of machines in here. So when folks come in, and that's another great thing about coming to class here in Mooresville, when folks come in to get trained, they're also able to see the other technology that you know Weinig has to offer, and a lot of times they're seeing the technology that's in their shop as well, because we have such an array of machines. So so anyway, class going on today or this week. It's been great. We have new hires, always exciting, and then obviously the P50. So, all right, so that's all the time that we have this morning. Michael, thank you for joining us on TCA. Everybody watching, thank you guys for joining us as well. We'll be back. We'll be back next week with another special guest.
A special guest, that's right.
So next week, Andy and David LeMason will be joining us. Another key member of our Weinig Holz-Her team, specializes in like all things aftermarket, will be on TCA. So if you have questions about parts, spare parts, fulfillment, anything aftermarket, that'll be a great TCA to join. Again, we're live every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. For this week, we are signing off. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.